Evening out. Let's get this meeting started. Everything about tonight's meeting is located at the door, at the entrance to the building, or at rockridgepublicschools.org. At this time, I would ask everybody to please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record reflect that all board members are present. At this time, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Director Artie, there's one thing that the admin would like to consider adding, the ASME,
Okay.
consideration of the ASME
Oh,
contract.
that
If
is
the board would like to do
Okay,
that.
that is correct.
Short-term memory, Bill.
Huh?
Short-term memory.
Well, no, I was excited.
I would
I would add
amend
it.
my motion to include 9.7 for the ASME contract.
Okay,
And I have an addition. We received a communication from Channel 12 that the school board has 2 representatives on the Channel 12 board. And they've been operating, and I'm on that board from the city, representative, with one less board, school district representative for a long time, and now Tom Percent was the second one, and he's retiring, so we have 0 representatives from the school district. So the sooner the better that we can put out applications and choose 2 representatives from the school.
You want to add it to the agenda or you want to talk about it now?
Did we get?
we'll add it, let's add it to the agenda. Where do you want to add
Did you
the
say we received something from them?
Yeah, didn't we, some board members get it?
No,
I did not get, I
I
don't
get nothing.
recall. Yeah.
You did.
Yes,
Okay. So I got it because I'm on the board, and I think he carbon copied me the letter he sent to you.
yes, I always get their monthly updates.
So Director Shortman, where would you like to put just a discussion on this?
Doesn't matter.
Well, it's your
Just
call.
so we make some decision of what we do and how fast we do it.
Is that?
Wherever you want, just.
Once you have, put in Noel's,
Yeah. Done to the superintendent report?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all right. And then also 9.7 and the ASME contract for approval, 9.7, action taken.
Yeah, and I have one more consideration for an addition. Whether it's just gonna be handled in-house, but there was another communication from Mr. Goodman about working against plaques. And even if we just discuss it, but don't make a decision tonight, or give me.
Willie's gonna cover that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, all that discussion. Can I get a,
we have Yuhan and Nicole.
Yep, that's fine.
okay. Got a motion by Yuan, support by Nicole. As amended?
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Up next is recognition of visitor input. Nicole Dahl, just wanted to, you can speak now to that, to the passing of this gentleman.
Okay, so I just wanted to let everybody know that a beloved teacher of 60 years, Wayne Christensen, passed away yesterday. He, it's just hard to believe that he was a teacher for over 60 years. He taught my dad, he taught me, he taught my son, he taught my niece. He was a beloved teacher, dedicated, loyal, and he will be sorely missed. He had a special connection recently with the class of 2022. where they kind of took him in and they really just revered him, and they asked him to speak at their graduation ceremony, which was really a special moment for them and for him. And I just want to acknowledge that it's going to be a great loss for our district and the community. He will be missed, and I hopefully speak for all the board when I say his family and loved ones will be in our thoughts and prayers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sad to hear. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? None being had, we'll move on to item 4. Item 4 is the boys hockey coach. I don't believe Mr. Johnson is here.
I'd make a motion to deny his appeal.
Support.
Okay. So motion by Director Yuhan, support by Director Laudiger to deny his appeal. Any discussion?
I just feel that a suitable amount of time was given. He had made the request for the appeal back on May 20th. May 23rd, I believe, Noel had reached out to him about attending our first meeting in June. He was unable to attend due to family priorities. The same was given for tonight's meeting as to why he wasn't able to be here. And from my perspective, since 2022, when we started discussing ice time, I had spoken to him about just, coming to the board about the big topics and advocating for his program, advocating for the athletes. When we were having all those discussions about ice time and things, I only recall him being here one time, and it just, the last meeting and then tonight's meeting, it just reiterates for me the importance of, being visible and being here for advocating for his athletes, advocating for the program, and tonight advocating for himself. So I support moving forward with an interviewing process.
I was looking forward to hearing his side of the story, both at the last meeting and this one, and sad that he didn't come to tell his side of the story.
I mean, he did email. He emailed all, I would assume all of the board regarding some of his perspective or his thoughts on the situation, and I just, like I said, it's unfortunate.
I do think
it's
it's a moot point because he's not here, and so there is no appeal.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Agreed.
Did you get this yesterday?
I did.
What's today?
I did.
Today's the
Today,
24th, yeah.
Well, I just want to make sure that we're doing the process correctly as far as, if we don't want to renew, we have to give notice, they can have a hearing. Supposedly, this is the hearing. Is it typically during a school board meeting, or are those types of hearings usually separate meetings?
They are typically a school board meeting. That's how the laws are set up. And you are required to give him a reasonable period of time to appeal. You had it on your agenda for 2 separate school board meetings, so I believe you've met the criteria of a reasonable period of time.
I think he mentioned in here, and I'm trying to think of the statute too, about does the board at the hearing or before the hearing or after the hearing have to give specific reasons why they are not being renewed? And I just want to make sure we're doing it correctly. Then, as I was reading on, at some point, they can get kicked into the teacher's statutory language about hearings and mediation and investigations, and I don't know, it can get pretty complicated. So I just want to make sure we're following that process.
Yep, I believe we have followed the process. He had a direct one-on-one conversation with an activity director. He was directly given 4 or 5 reasons as far as, I got him, yes, he got him.
I'm just saying, because I think the thing says they need to be redone.
Yep, and I know the email you received, there are another of inaccuracies in there. But he had an opportunity to come tonight and say whatever he would like to say, and he is not present. So I believe we have followed the correct procedures.
Okay, so all that discussion,
Can I also just state something too? just because I think the public isn't always aware, but school board members don't have to refrain from voting unless it's going to financially impact them based on how the vote goes. So that's been brought up about abstaining from votes, and I just think that, you know, people need to be aware we don't need to abstain from a vote unless we are financially benefiting from you know, what happens in that vote.
I know that, I've always known that, and I've mentioned the same thing, but people still abstain, and you don't have to.
Okay. So with all the discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
6-1. Director Sharkin voting no. Okay, move along to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
By Reardon,
Support.
support by Yuhan. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Reports. Mr. Spelch, you are up. He's going to talk about school to work engagement and fundraising updates.
We're gonna talk about everything.
And you're also going to talk about
Goodman.
the Goodman,
Yes. Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. I'll go as quick as I can. I'll try to read things to get it rolling because it is warm. Nicole, well done on Mr. C. I had him and absolutely loved him. And then I came back as a dean of students and hugs all the time. Remembered my Spanish name, still called me by that all the time. Love you, buddy. Big hug all the time. So that was a tough one to take. So thank you. Well done. We'll miss you forever, Mr. C, but we will never forget you. Thank you to Allison Krybeck for a donation of $4,500 for the varsity baseball scoreboard. This is payment number 4 of 6 years. State Farm has also equaled that donation as they do with $4,500. So recently I've turned in $9,000 to Stacy from Allison Krybeck and State Farm. So thank you, Allison and State Farm. Much appreciated. You've been great to work with. A donation of $14,280 from the Rock Ridge Hoops Club, the Rock Ridge Basketball Booster Club, known as Rock Ridge Hoops Club, for the North Star Gym / basketball hoop improvements. 4 hoop height adjusters, 6 backboards, hoops and nets. Height adjusters bring the hoops down to 8 feet for early elementary, meaning K3 basketball at North Star Gym, and for the North Star Gym classes to use. Thank you, Rock Ridge Hoops Club. Great story here. The Hallinan family are great friends of mine. Many of you in the audience will probably remember Mr. Hallinan. Many of you maybe lived near them in your neighborhood before they moved. But great donations from Lisa Hallinan Erickson and Rick Erickson, Delaney Hallinan Georgie and Steve Georgie, Rod and Mary Lou Hallinan themselves, Todd and Cindy Hallinan, Kristen Hallinan Thomas and Kurt Thomas, Rhonda Hallinan and Leslie Weiss. All the Hallinans are VHS graduates, and Mom Mary Lou is an Evelyn High School graduate, so Rod and Mary Lou are an early example of how Rock Ridge can work. We like to have some fun with that. And these are incredibly kind people. They have donated $10,000, and it is to honor the VHS class of 1952 state basketball team. That VHS graduate, Rod Hallinan, the dad of everybody I just named, and a longtime PE teacher and community ed at Virginia Public Schools, that his squad that he played on. The Hallinan family wanted to honor this team and their father. So the outdoor basketball court at North Star Elementary in Virginia will be named in honor of the 1952 VHS state tournament basketball team. Thank you to the Hallinan family. It's been a great process. They're great people that absolutely support our schools and love everything that we're doing here. So huge thanks to them. Recently, I've partnered with the United Way of Northeastern Minnesota on a $10,000 grant application for building career pathways. Mark and I are working on that together, but the grant application, a special thanks to Elizabeth Kelly from the United Way Northeast Minnesota for her help and support with this grant application. We'll keep you posted on that. I previously spoke to you about this from Judge Anderson, Michelle Anderson, and her quotes from her email. We have word that the Supreme Court of Minnesota will travel to Virginia, Minnesota to hear a case at Rock Ridge High School. Justice Procaccini, great Italian name there, reached out to give you a heads, that was my word, not her quote. Justice Procaccini reached out to give you a heads up, and then she heard it again in a meeting today at the time of the email, and she's super excited. So that's going to be a great experience for our kids in our government classes and anybody else interested in all of that. So stay tuned for more information on that. And thank you, Judge Anderson, for all of your work and thinking about us. Thank you to the Virginia Community Foundation for the 2023 Rock Ridge Education Fund monies. They recently have donated $8,531. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it'll go towards a digital piano and a piano cover, some color printers. I believe we've seen that already. So a great donation from the Rock Ridge Education Fund, which is a subsidiary of the Virginia Community Foundation. Thank you, Virginia Community Foundation. Scoreboard add-ons from the Wolverine Fund monies. Please refer to item 9.1 on your agenda. 9.1 says consider approval to use Wolverine Fund monies for labor costs and product purchase. Please add that so you know it's not just for the labor costs. It's for the entire project, which is scoreboard add-ons and the installation of the new scoreboards on the 3 auxiliary floors in the U.S. Steel Gymnasium. So thank you to the, again, this is the Wolverine Fund. We'll be using monies from there to make that payment. So it covers both the equipment and the labor. Next, I am collaborating with Sandy Karnowski and the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce on a tour of Rock Ridge High School on Thursday. Sandy is from Cleveland Cliffs and is a great supporter of our Rock Ridge Academy model. And we'll be walking the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce members through our amazing high school, and they're very excited to see this. They keep hearing about it all the time. And then my last one, a couple more, not bad though, I promise. A recent conversation with Mr. Goodman. Mr. Goodman asks, is there an update on the art placement? And I told him, hi Bill, remodeling of the HVAC system happening all over the admin building. The entrance inside of the admin building is where the district would like to put the sculpture as a recommendation. He said, do they have a time frame when they will be ready for the installation? Are there any photos? I sent Bill photos of the entrance wall as you walk in on the right when you get inside. And I also sent him a walk-in video from my phone and was talking through it and showing him all of that in the main entrance of the admin building. And he says, hopefully the wall will have the strength needed to support the piece. And I said, I agree, that will be a next step. That will happen after the HVAC is completed. I will keep you posted on the happenings and reach out to you as we plan. Stay tuned. And then he asked, is the school building exterior eliminated as a possible installation site? And I told him in a voice text that it doesn't have to be, but right now it seems that where we're leaning, and we could certainly revisit it and look at options again. I told him that I'm soon off contract and will be back again, available in early August. But then he got back one more time and said, we've been pretty thorough already, Willie. I don't know that we will find a better spot than the one we photographed. The east exterior entrance and the west exterior patio area would take some major effort to make it workable. So he seems good with our recommendation to put it as you come into the admin building. And that's it on that. You want me to pause for any questions on that or keep going?
Okay, Willie, could you just add, didn't you and Mr. Goodman walk through the high school, look at a
The
whole
entire
bunch
high
of
school, yes.
and locations, and
We looked at all kinds of places, and the weight of the project is just so big that reinforcements are needed, and the metal studded current walls could never hold it, and he agreed, and we looked at all kinds of places, and this is where we've ended up. Good point.
Willie, did you say that a possibility would be to put it on some kind of a pedestal, not on the wall, or some kind of a slab? Is that what you're talking about?
Out here, we would hang it on the wall.
Or on the wall?
That was discussed in earlier conversations, and then just kind of felt by the wayside as not as much of a positive solution. For fear of knocking over, for fear of never being able to move it, for fear of scratching floors and just not being able to manage it somehow.
I guess personally, I'm not sure that that is a prominent place in an admin building, and the whole theme of it is students. And so I would wish that we could find some place within our school or outside the school where the students are and where people come. People come for, they don't come for school board meetings very often, but they come for plays and music, you know, and concerts and things like that.
From what I just heard from the email he just sent him, he agreed that this was probably the best place because of it being difficult to
Bang.
hang the other.
Is that something that could be outside, or is that not feasible? Just,
It is made to withstand it. We just couldn't find a prominent spot to keep it
safe.
where it would work and where we fear of the safety.
Good work.
I have been and I have been and will be coordinating class reunion tours throughout the summer. People have been contacting me for tours because they have heard such great things about our incredible facility, both from Virginia and Evelyn Gilbert. So Todd Grippentrog is going to take one coming up here as I have family coming in town for the 4th of July, but they'll pick up again in August and any other time we call. We like to get them through there because it's a lot of fun. And some exciting news as money keeps coming in. Thank you to everybody. Thank you 1,000 times. And we don't save it, we spend it. That's what we do. We raise it to use it. And exciting news, we're inching closer and closer to the $3 million mark. Just 150,000 short right now. So we have some spots. I'll keep working on it. But I look forward to hopefully very soon being able to say we've tipped over the $3 million mark in our Rockbridge Rising campus. I hope so.
Thank you.
Thanks, Willie.
Willie, when did you get that email from Mr. Goodman, or that message?
When?
Yeah.
Mixtures of today and other days.
So the board got a letter, and I finally was given a copy that I could open. And it's signed by William and Catherine Sadness, and it says, the administration building is an inappropriate location, as it is not a part of the school building. The wall that's being considered has not been adequately prepared, blah, 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 but, so they said it was inappropriate at the admin building.
So a fun question right now would be, are you calling me a liar?
Well,
I'm just wondering. Because I have the text right here, so I'm just wondering.
I'm just saying, I got this text
I
and it
understand.
said something different,
And
that's
I
all.
got a text just today evening.
Well, we got this today too.
I didn't get anything today. I had gotten
Well, Willie
previously
got
at the
something
earlier
today.
week.
June 21st,
And
And I'll keep working with him.
Dr. Schmidt and school board members, June 21st. So, sorry if you didn't see it, Brandy.
I saw it. I didn't get anything today. Today's the 24th.
Well, I got
So
it
a few
today
days
because I
ago,
couldn't.
and he got.
So I'm assuming, like you
Message today.
said, you went through it with him and he understood that there's really not a feasible place. And so maybe that's what happened. And so he's conceding that this is probably the best spot.
I don't care.
I have no problem working with him more too.
Yeah,
It
I don't
makes
care.
no difference to me. I'm just giving you the most current info that I have.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Thanks, Willie.
You bet.
Up next is item 6.2. Did everybody watch the video? I need a motion to approve our membership.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
By Director Lotiger, support by Director Reardon. Any discussion?
Why did they want us to particularly, I did watch it, but I guess it didn't sink in. What was the message there that we were supposed to get?
It was the reason why the Minnesota State High School, of which you've been a member for years and years, they just asked that all school boards in the entire state of Minnesota watch the video so you're aware of what they do. It was simply a request from the Minnesota High School meeting. So that's why we sent it out to you.
Okay. All those in.
Well, it has nothing to do with membership then.
No, it was just a simple request for the school board, so that's why we put it on the agenda, because we didn't want you to not know that they had
And
requested.
We already
voted.
joined
Yeah, we already joined, so I don't.
at a previous meeting.
a
Right.
vote on
So we
it.
don't need a motion on
Okay.
this.
So we say-
Just that we have done it, you know.
So there's no action needed. We'll move on. Okay. Superintendent report.
Thank you, Director Andy. I will be brief tonight because there is no HVAC running in this building. So I went to Target, got 2 fans, so we make it through the evening here. So there is no AC or air moving in this building for those who are watching. The couple things to bring up. Yes,
Do you have the
Director
other
Rear.
fan
That's
over
what they
there?
smell.
Thank you for getting the fans too.
Just kidding, Tim. Go ahead, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so board members, you can reposition yourself in front of the fans at any point. You can fight over the airspace. Couple things. One is we've included the legislative recap. I'm not going to go over it, but this is a document MSBA always puts out. There's some additional things that happen educational-wise. This is just so you to know, and also for folks who are watching online. If you want to know what happened politically, legislatively, simply go to our website, go to the school board meetings, go to the board book. You can download it and see exactly what happened politically this spring. So this is more of an FYI and a resource to use for board members. The second thing I just want to update is Evelyn. So on the Evelyn campus. So we are done with our last due bid auction. We do not have updates for that. Folks have gone into the building and picked up what they have purchased. And I just want to let the board know that there were some items that were not sold that the Evelyn Community Foundation and the Evelyn Historical Society picked up. I told them they could pick them up. I figured it was a nonprofit. We were running out of days because abatement is starting imminently in that building. So they did pick up a few items that nobody bought. So just so you know, they did pick those up. We should have everything out of the Franklin building here. I think they were going to be done. They were hoping today, tomorrow for sure. We have hired some additional bodies to help remove things from the building so the abatement can start, so you don't get charged extra money for delaying the abatement or the demolition. And I do need to say that there was going to be another scheduled due bid auction. There was going to be a third one. However, when the Klavacek lawsuit hit, because of the timing of that, and the reality of the matter is you did prevail in that lawsuit. The reality of the situation was it did back you up with the abatement and the demolition. And the reality is you had some items that were not sold that people didn't pick up, and they are going down with the building. And the reason for that is what little money you could get by having a due bid auction would have cost you way more in delaying abatement and delaying the demolition. So unfortunately, there were some items we did not sell because we simply ran out of time. And we needed the abatement to start, and that will start this week in the Franklin building. On another topic related to that, the city of Evelyn, based upon what I'm hearing, the city of Evelyn, they do not have it ready for you tonight. Otherwise, you would be looking at it. They are going to ask you to keep the gym, and they are going to ask you to keep the band music areas, that arts section. And the demolition crew knows this, so they are going to work around it. But you don't have a legal agreement because the city of Evelyn isn't done with it right now. They are very, very hoping and pushing that it is done this week. So their council looks at it on Tuesday of next week, which means that it would come to you at your first board meeting in July, which would be July 8th. There's no reason for you to have another special meeting because of that, because they're working around it. So they are gingerly working around it. And one thing they have to be aware of is the city of Evelyn wants you to not tear the building down. They have to be aware of vibrations, because when you start knocking down sections of the building, it vibrates through hallways and corridors. So they have to be a little more careful when they're bringing things down. So the city of Evelyn is, I believe, going to ask you to keep and they are going to change the purchase agreement and provide you with the proposal. Hopefully, they will see it next Tuesday. You would see it July 8th for you to make a decision, whichever way you want to go on that one. So that's the update, and that's in the purpose of expediency. That's all I have for you.
We want to discuss the Channel 12.
Oh, Channel 12.
Yes.
So you did get an email from Channel 12. You have had a staff member, Tom, who has been a member for years. He is no longer an employee. He has retired after 400 years of working for the Evansville School District and the Rockbridge School District. He was another individual who spent a lot of time working for you, providing service to the community. They are looking for 2 board members. They would like one to come from our technology area. This could be a school board member, could be another person, could be a teacher, could be a para, could be anyone. So they are asking for 2, so we will send out emails to see if any employee is interested in joining the Channel 12 board. You have 2 seats on that board. They are simply recommending one come from technology, which kind of does make some sense. So we will send out and we'll see if we can get 2 people to join the board from Rockbridge.
All right.
And it would be nice if that second person also had some technology experience or knowledge.
Like, I'm just curious, like, what capacity, like, in technology, in what capacity?
They run Channel 12, and then about trying to work in the school district is doing this now with their Friday morning things that I've been watching them, and they've gotten better and better and better. And that's something we've talked about for a long time, incorporating Channel 12 with any technology or video or media classes. I mean, that's kind of
Better go in here.
Yeah. And now we've got a studio moved in the back room here, the Channel 12 studio. So basically to keep the Channel 12 public access going and then add to it. And cooperate is not the great word with the school though, and the curriculum and
All right.
for the benefit of the students.
Okay, moving on. 6.4, can I get a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Moved by Colbert Dahl,
Support.
support by Yuan. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Policies, item 7, we'll do a blanket policy, which will be 7.1 through 7.7, which will be.
Can I pull student discipline 506 for discussion?
Sure.
Which one?
506, student discipline.
6.
And then I'd just like to vote separately on number 2 and 3 again.
7.1 and 7.2? For 2 and 3?
2 and 3.
Okay. So 605, okay, so. Okay,
Maybe we
so
should just go.
we'll just go one, we'll go individually. Okay, can I get a motion to approve 7.1?
I will.
Support,
I'll support it.
Lotiger, support by Yuan. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 7.2, 606.5.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Yuan, support by Lotiger. Any discussion? Polly?
No, I'm just gonna vote.
Huh?
No discussion, I'm just gonna vote.
On 7.2? Okay. No discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion passes 6-1. Item 7.3, 606.5.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Yuhan, support by Reardon. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-1. 7.4, 506, student discipline.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Director Yuhan,
Support.
support by Culver Dahl. Any discussion?
I want to make sure. I had spoke to a couple of the principals, so I spoke to some administration, and there is some wording in the student discipline policy on page 13 that is outdated. and not pertinent at the moment. And I just want to make sure that that gets changed before we go any further with it.
Highlight it or what?
Put it to the policy committee or for review? Or
Yeah, and for discussion with Noel and the principals as well. It was, to be more specific, it's policy 506, page 13. And I believe it was C. Procedures for removal of a student from a class. And I'm not aware if that was changed yet or not, so I just want to make sure it does get changed before we.
Changed into what though? Like what is wrong or what is, do you have a problem?
Can I know, is that something that you were talking with us about, the principals, and you are talking about early intervention, and is that could be part of this right here?
We're talking mostly about practices.
Okay.
Discipline group, this is policy.
Okay,
And so this is what originally came from MSBA. So board members, you have two options. One is you can approve it and then ask the policy committee to relook at it, because if it's wrong by MSBA, you're going to get another update from MSBA to modify. Or you can pull it off and have the policy committee look at it again.
who's on the policy committee?
That's
So did anybody talk to you guys at all
No,
about
not
it?
at all.
And the reason
I'd like to know.
came upon the conversation regarding policy 506, and I inquired about it because they had said that there was some things that needed to be changed in there and they needed to work on that. And so I sent an email today just making sure that it was changed since it was coming to the board today. And I was emailed back that, it was policy 506 on page 13, and
what change, do you know what the changes are?
I want to say that it had to do with, it's removal from class is what I was told, but there was some situations or some things that were in there that were specific maybe to Evelyn Gilbert that are no longer relevant, I guess.
Oh, so
I guess I'd just like it
from the
to-
MSBA though, is it? I mean, it's quoted from the MSBA. It's not like Evan Gilbert, right? I mean,
I would just like the policy committee to review it again.
it'd be fine to review it, but it'd be nice to know what we're reviewing. I guess I'm not,
So it's page 13.
I know, but I don't know what the
506,
issue
section
is.
C.
But yeah, but we don't know what the issue is, that's the point.
What's the principal's complaints?
So this is what was emailed to me. Procedures for removal of a student from a class. There are many reasons that a student may be removed from class. They include but are not limited to rules violations or the potential of a dangerous situation. When a student is removed the first time, it will be documented by the teacher and the parent will be notified by the teacher. The student may also receive additional disciplinary action. If a second removal occurs, the parent will be notified and a meeting will be held within 48 hours with the student, teacher, parent, and administration. During this meeting, the teacher will explain his or her expectations for behavior. The student and parent will have the opportunity to ask any questions that they may have, with the goal being a solution to the behavioral problem. If a third removal takes place, the student may be removed from the class, assigned study hall, or lose credit. Other solutions, and I want to say it was maybe that part that wasn't relevant anymore. Other solutions may be a class change or an alternative programming for the student. A parent meeting may also be held at the request of the teacher when removals have not occurred. If a student receiving special education services is removed from a class, the above procedures will apply. In addition, the IEP team may need to meet to consider the adequacy of the IEP. Students serving administratively determined consequences in the school suspension, intervention room, or other disciplinary locations will be ineligible from participating in after-school activities, practices, and contests.
Is that language from our student handbook?
I just followed it as she read it, and it's exactly.
Yeah, so I'm so
Same.
confused. I don't get it.
I just, do you recall any conversations?
Here's what I
Adam
think it
about
is. It's because in that paragraph, you heard a lot of maybe removed, maybe. So that doesn't mean it has to happen. It doesn't mean it will. It's an option, maybe, and that might be what's throwing people for a loop. Maybe. It doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. It just says maybe. So frankly, from an admin point of view, you like a little bit of flexibility so your admin and teachers can work with the kid and the parents, because sometimes you have to do different things depending upon what the situation is. My guess is that's the word maybe that appeared about 4 times there.
And they do, whoever contacted you did not like the word maybe, wanted it more
just said that
definite?
there was some things that needed to be changed in there and amended. So I would be okay with moving it forward today, but if the policy committee could have Noel talk to administration.
I think the best way would be is if there's administrators that have a problem with this language, they should contact you before we have the third reading. And
Agreed.
and then it could go back to the policy committee.
Sounds great. I just wanted to call attention to
Yeah,
it.
maybe they
Make
can
sure
clarify a little bit
If
more.
there were changes that need to be made, that they are made. That's all I wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
Okay, with all that discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, can I get a motion to approve 7.5 corporal punishment?
Support.
By Reardon, support by Lotiger. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 7.6, 507.5 school resource officers. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
By Riddell, support by Westby. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 7.7, policy 514, bully prohibit. Yeah, policy.
Support.
Support by Reardon, support by Lotiger. Yuhan, excuse me.
We have a
He's
little
right
bit
next to you.
different
I know.
You sound the same, but.
Yeah, it's all the same. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 8, policies up for review, second reading. We'll do a blanket policy, which would be 101.1.
We do them all in one sweep?
Yes, we'll do them all in one sweep. We'll do 8.1 to 8.14.
Support.
By Reardon, support by Yuhan. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Administrative item, consider approval to use Wolverine monies for labor costs related to scoreboard upgrades in the U.S. Steel Gymnasium, as Willie mentioned to us.
So,
Support.
Albert Dahl, support by Lotiger, right? Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, 9.2, consider approval of proposed school activity fees and spectator ticket prices beginning in the 2024-2025 school year.
I would like to make a motion, but change, with the change on it, if I may.
Okay?
To approve it the way it is and add for a family max of $40 and adjust for any students that have reduced fees.
Family max of 40, are you talking, add a family max for ticket for spectator.
So if you have a family of 5 kids, you're gonna max out after paying for 2. And then if you're a family that has reduced fees, then that'll be appropriately added to the.
okay, but I understand that, but the reduced fees, I mean, these are, our kids get free tickets, right? To sporting
No,
events.
not,
Not on
anymore?
here,
They're not
it's
doing that anymore?
$5 ticket for students.
I'm seeing 4.
Students can also get a student pass for $20.
Gotcha.
And that's just, goes along with athletics, if some families get reduced fees, so, and then we also have family maxes, so I think it would be appropriate for us to add that in there.
So what I'm looking at here, it says family maximum of 600.
That's for
That's,
athletics.
that's for,
Okay.
That's for the year for
That's-
paying for it.
this would only be for the student
The ticket
Admission.
prices.
admission tickets.
Can you say again what you wanted? I'm sorry about the
For-
reduced.
We're gonna be charging the students $20 for a blanket
For the year.
for the year. Add to that there would be a family maximum of $40, and that any student would be adjusted for reduced fees.
How would that work?
Yeah, they get comp.
Well, it's done internally within the athletic department. Some families can't afford to pay the full fee for athletics, so they get a reduced fee. And then that's part of the money that is generated from Minnesota State High School League helps offset that for the school.
I understand that. I was just wondering who sets that price, if it would be set in the athletic
The
department then? Like
the athletic department, they have a sliding fee, I guess.
Okay,
And we usually follow the free and reduced meal counts. That's
Okay.
usually what we do. For most of our, cut the price down.
But how do you do that when everybody's having free?
Well, there's a way we can,
Okay.
they
Gotta
can
be-
tell us whether they're eligible for free or reduced meals.
I think there's a typo on here too, ticket prices for seniors, it shouldn't be $60. I think it should be $6 maybe.
I like the $6.
I mean,
Seniors
that's
have
individual.
lots of money, I don't know,
Yeah.
60.
Yeah, I'm assuming that,
It should,
unless that's a pass, I don't know if there's is there
That
a
might be
senior
the-
price for senior?
There is a pass for seniors, I believe.
there is a pass.
But is there
It must.
an individual ticket price for seniors?
Probably
Yeah, they're
$7
getting-
adults.
They're getting,
Adult.
$40 off. Adult season
Alright.
pass is 100 and seniors are 60, is that it?
Maybe.
It doesn't specify, but I think
So
we
just
can include
you want
that.
typo.
Yeah.
Maybe it isn't a typo, maybe seniors pay $7.
But
Season.
it would still say senior pass,
Yeah.
$60.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't say pass.
Okay.
That's, yes. It's a senior pass, that's what the $60 means.
I made the motion, so we need a second.
I'll second your motion.
Motion by Reardon, supported by Colbert-Dahl, to approve 9.2. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 9.3, consider approval of the budget for the 2024-2025. Motion to approve the budget.
So moved.
By Lotiger, support by Reardon. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Passes 6-1. Mr. Clerk, voting no. 9.4, consider approval of the transfer of committed fund balance to the unassigned fund balance. Need a motion for that? I'll move on that.
Support.
Support by Reardon. Any discussion?
Well, please explain to everybody what that means.
We had that discussion at the
Well, maybe
meetings ago.
maybe the public doesn't know.
Yes, I will explain what it is. Before the consolidation, the Evans-Gilbert School Board voted to give some extra money to help finish Laurentian. The Virginia School Board voted to give $2.5 million to use on the high school. That money has been sitting off to the side. And so now this request is so the money hasn't been spent. So it's in a very unique account that only can be spent for construction. So if you vote yes on this means we're gonna take that 2.5 million, put it in the general account. And the reason why you might wanna do that is then you can use that on more different types of things. Your flexibility greatly increases. And this would go into the general fund, and that's why this is on the agenda. to see if you want to do that. You still can spend that on construction items, but now you have the ability, if you choose down the road, you could spend it on other things. That's what this is all about.
My question is, the high school is already done, it's been lived in for a year. Why hasn't that 2.5 already been spent?
You have bills that are still coming in
And why would we not use that for those bills?
because the auditors have put this money off to the side. It actually was in your, when the auditor was standing right there. He went over this and he said he put it on a separate account because he wanted it to be identified as such. This actually breaks in your favor that they haven't tapped into that fund yet because they're going to tap into it. This just gives you more flexibility on those dollars. If you choose to keep it where it is, where you certainly can do, then we're going to use it on construction and construction only.
But if it was designated for that high school, it should be used for that high school.
All that means is that now we're using that money
For something, we're replacing that money for something else. You know, money, if it's here or if it's here, it should go for that purpose because then we are, I don't even know how to explain this. I should have made a picture, some kind of a chart, but say these things that we're adding to the high school. Well, shouldn't that money go for that before we use other funds?
Like putting up walls,
Okay, perfect example.
Like what?
Like putting up
the walls we have to put up.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And we've got, I don't know if it's special funding or if it's this outdoor gardening thing or outdoor environmental space or something.
I don't think we should use that to bail our budget out. I think it should be used for the building.
Or let's use it for the Laurentians, give the Laurentian kids something that the other elementaries have, right? Like,
And we can still do that.
well,
We can still do it when it's.
I don't know why we raffled that money, put it that way. It should have been spent, it should be used.
if we have bills that amount to 2.5, it should be there, not putting it in the general fund to bail us out of,
It came out of the general fund originally.
came out of Virginia's, yes, and so did our 3
And
million.
Evelyn came out of their general fund, so we're just putting it back where we can utilize it.
And we're not using it to bail us out, correct? We're using it
No.
just,
It would
so
be
it's a
to help.
safety net. As
You're
Right.
increasing
It gives us
your-
more
you're
opportunity.
increasing your safety net because as you read in the budget, you still, and I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but you gave your employees $1 million that you didn't get from the state of Minnesota. And so that is what is causing you to have some of these budget issues. This is a smart thing to do, my opinion, because it does protect your general fund a little bit. And we are paying for some of the things that you heard mentioned over here. They're coming out of your summer bond money. Which fund we're taking these out of? It's still only construction only. And I do need to say this again. There was never intention to build Laurentian exactly like North Star. There are things in Laurentian that North Star doesn't have. There are things in North Star that Laurentian doesn't have. And that's how it is. And both buildings have unique things in them that the other simply doesn't have. But we never intended for them to be built exactly the same.
Well, you know, but one important thing is, and I didn't even know until I went to a meet and confer meeting last year, and then when we toured the North Star, the Laurentian doesn't have a music band, music program room, and I think they should have that. They shouldn't be having to practice and play in hallways and put their equipment and their instruments in and out of rooms and pull things in and out. That one thing is important to me. They don't have a music area, practice booths, a nice storage area that connects the two. I didn't know that that was part of the plan, and that's not right. They're pinched on that in the music department. And those kids deserve those facilities just the same. The Franklin kids had a sliding hill. Now they're not going to have anything, but now the new North Star is going to have one. Ceramics, wait now, ceramics, there's another thing I became aware of. there's a new kiln in the North Star for those elementary kids.
But-
There's
but-
nothing in, please don't interrupt me.
Well, Polly, but
Please don't
the,
interrupt me.
I'm not interrupting.
Just give her.
Yeah, you are interrupting me. And
Quiet, just go on, Polly.
I am, and you know,
Go on,
when we had that MSBA thing, we all said that we need to do better of not interrupting each other. We
but just
all-
go on, please.
Okay, so, and one other thing I found out is there's a new kiln over there. We put on Dubed a kiln that was donated by the Rodrigo family, and if nothing else, at least we'd have a kiln for the elementary kids on the Evelyn's campus side. And I don't even know what other things aren't equal. There's gaga pits and there's, I don't know what else. We got a little playground, but then the whole ninja thing is over there. I mean, you know,
We've got a forest that they can't. But go ahead, Tim.
now.
No, all I want to say is to echo what Noala said, they're different. I can name lots of things that the Laurentian has that the North Star doesn't have. And we don't need to go there. They're done, they're built, and we should be happy that we have these two beautiful buildings for our elementary.
And the list,
still-
don't leave out Parkview too, there's, I mean,
And Parkview, yeah.
Laurentian has a lot more
I would like
Yeah,
to see
than is
something.
Parkview.
Go ahead.
I do agree with you about the music department. That is concerning, and I don't like that. However, I don't think it should be tit for tat. I mean, you could definitely say, well, Virginia doesn't have a state-of-the-art football stadium right there to use for the kids. There's a myriad, or the baseball fields, beautiful baseball fields that kids could walk to. I mean, it just isn't equal. It just is different. I think they both have their pluses. They're both beautiful. They're wonderful state-of-the-art facilities. That doesn't bother me, but it does bother me about the music. And that is something that I think we should probably talk about in the
Yeah,
future.
that's my
I-
major concern. That's a big one for me.
I would concur with Nicole.
Not me, about music. I said the same thing about music, but you won't concur with me.
Well,
Concur with
But anyhow,
me. I think we should look at
This is
some of
about
those
moving the money though.
Yeah,
facilities money.
yeah.
Well, that's the topic of moving the money and maybe using it for,
Okay, but I think the
Shifting-
point is that we could, maybe it's fiscally responsible to move the money, and we can still use it for building, correct?
Correct.
well, where's that other sheet that the Buildings and Grounds Committee got with all those numbers and the funds? We only got 2 pieces of paper. That would be real helpful for everybody else to understand where that money is going for, how much we have left, how much we don't have left. So
And that part just, it's not on the agenda tonight.
I know, but that's part of this whole discussion,
I get it.
budget discussion.
All right, so 9.4, we'll move along on this. We have more than enough discussion, which is all good discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion passes 6-1 with Director Sorkin voting no. 9.5, discuss and a decision on whether to leave the NLC after completion of the 2024-2025 school year or the 2025-2026 school year. I get a motion to, I'll make the
I
motion.
think,
Well, wait,
well, there's a
You-
choice there.
there's a choice.
Right.
Why don't we
So-
ask the superintendent what his suggestion?
Okay, all right.
Thank you, members of the school board. The reason why this is on the agenda is that you've already told me that you are leaving the NLC. The only question is when. Based upon the original document where all the schools joined together many years ago, if any member leaves, they must give the other districts notification 12 months ahead of time. So if you decided to leave the NLC in a year from now, we have to send a letter to all of the member districts before July 1st, 2024. If the decision is 2 years, then we don't need to do anything. So I put this on the agenda for you to talk about this, and I'm going to recommend, because you do not have a special ed director yet, I know the personnel committee is working through this, and we believe we'll have one for you, but you don't have one right now. And so I believe the prudent thing would be to go 2 years and leave in 2 years. That way there's more planning time. But if you tell me, hey, Schmidt, I want to get this done, I want to be out of the NLC in a year, then you just need to tell me that tonight, so then we can notify the other member districts that you're leaving after your, but I'm just suggesting the prudent thing might be to just go a little bit slower and leave after 2 years. That would coincide when their new building in Mountain Iron is finished, and that will coincide when everyone is leaving the James Madison building.
I will make the motion to separate from the NLC in 2 years.
I'll support.
Motion by Director Lotiger, support by Director Reardon to leave after the 2024, or 2025, 2026 school year.
The question I have, Mr. Chair, is in a year and a half or a year, we could, if we have all our ducks in a row, we can pull our students into here, correct?
You could, but then you just need to understand you're double paying.
Yeah, that's why I asked that.
From all the discussion that, we've had at Meet and Confer or interviews or, the input and feedback that I've received is it would be very difficult to do after a year. And that came from administration as well, so I feel like that, it just is the right thing to do it after 2 years.
Any more discussion on that?
And we can also, we can be hiring the special ed director and some of those positions now, we don't have to wait. It just gives staff, I think, more time to get everything situated and coordinated.
Okay. No more discussion? On 925, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion passes 6-1, Director Sorkin voting no. 9.6, consider submitting a proposed resolution to MSBA to submit to the legislature for actions Rockbridge School Board would like to take to encourage legislature to take.
It's not a motion, it's just a
Discussion.
Reminder.
reminder that we still have that option to do that.
So that's not no action on that item? Okay, should all-
Unless you have one of you has an idea for a proposed resolution.
And it's probably a lot easier now for us to correlate something now that we have the legislative recap from MSBA, because we can see where things have fallen into place.
Alrighty. 9.7, can I get a motion to approve the AFSCME contract?
So, support.
Moved by Director Reardon, support by Director Lotiger. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 10.1, our 10 meeting announcements. Our next regular meeting will be here Monday, July 8th at 6 p.m. Item 11, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Director Reardon, Yuhan, excuse me. Support by Director Lotiger. Monty,
I guess so.
yeah, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes unanimously.